So what happened was, let me explain if you don't mind, that is, a BBMP commissioner who is supposed to be the protector of law had actually lied to Lokayukta, just to check the twice. So when he was summoned in front of Lokayukta, he actually got himself transferred. He never appeared. But in the meantime, in order to save his own life, he had actually filed an SNP, though the legal department in Karnataka had told him not to file a Supreme Court legal petition. April of this year, 2010, BBMP lost the Supreme Court. So even after losing the case, they did not want to issue Khatas. They were paying gifts. Because they wanted to collect approximately 1 lakh rupees per person out of about 840 sites that existed. Okay. That's a lot of money. And this is where the resident welfare association came into the picture. They became the conduit for collecting the money. They would say, yeah, this is for some development, for light bulbs, etc. But you don't need 1 lakh rupees for light bulb. That's right. Correct. So this became a conduit. And we recognize that this process, we did not want to be part of. So three of us did a tremendous amount of analysis of what exactly was our legal standing. And that took almost 1 hour of work, 1 year of work, sorry. 1 year of work to RTI and Lokayukta. We actually contacted more than 15 departments. So even you've been made to run pillar to post to get your pick. I put it this way. If there was no RTI, we would not have made it. If there was no Lokayukta, we would not have made it. But because the human effort, the stubbornness of two great fighters, include yourself, please, that I will include later. Because honestly, it's not because these guys had not put the basic foundation, so I wouldn't have done it. So I can only tell you.
We collected the information to RTI. We returned letters to various departments. About 9 to 10 departments we
BBMP,
UDD, Chief Secretary, Law Minister, and even the sub-minister. And all of them, we collected the information, and on that basis, we came to the conclusion that the whole layout is legal.
So what I did was, at that moment, I happen to be a small technocrat. I run a software company. So I took all this data and put a 200-slide PowerPoint presentation. I called all the residents, and on one morning, for 2 hours, we made a PowerPoint presentation to tell them what exactly has happened historically and where we stand. You see, one of the problems that I see as citizens is we are really not aware of what happens inside the government. That's right. That unawareness, including me for that matter, makes us take underhanded ways. And we use some other middleman to do things. Once we were aware that we knew what was happening inside the government, all the 120 people, you ask a question, how did these 120 people came? Every one of them is a professional, either a software engineer or a doctor or a lawyer, etc. They all got together. And then we said, yeah, let us fight it. Because if we educated people in this layout do not take this as a challenge, nobody else can.
So you were also telling me about the certain movement that has come about. You have created a group of your own which fights against injustice or corruption. Just tell us a little more about that. Start with the name of it, please.
It is called Sachidananda Nagara Nyayapara Andolana. The Nyayapara means the name itself is very a cause of justice. So what we did was, with Mahesh, Shankar, myself, we had a group of persons we have mentioned here. One Mr. Muralidhar, CL Muralidhar, he is a lecturer in RV College. And one Vasudeva Murthy, he is a retired engineer. And one Mr. Siddhagowda, whose house we actually borrowed for all our meetings. There are 100 people who would come on a Sunday morning. And we would educate them as to what is happening on a weekly basis. So it took us almost, let's say, 6 months, somewhere around June time, till today, on a weekly basis, to educate everybody and make them part and parcel. And we took an oath on that day itself. 120 of us will go together, apply together. And we will only begin the Khata together. Because one of the things BBMP wanted to do was break our unity. We sent the Khata to only few people, the leaders.
When we went to Lokayukta, and they found that all the information provided by additional commissioner was false. They issued the direction saying that the order in 2355 of Civil Code is legal one, it is valid and enforceable.
Well, I appreciate the fact that a few of the people here were senseless at that point in time. They got their Khatas because they were leading the fight, but they did not sit down quietly. Very important, very important, very important. I would really say these two guys, of course, led that movement. And the other 30 or 40 who also got the Khata, they said, we will not take it till all the 150 get it. That's what you saw last night. In the middle of the night, at least 40 of them were women, so about 30 of them were very old people, and the rest of us. We all stood rain and chain and hunger.
And with a small baby, some woman came with a small baby in their hand, and after leaving their home, they leave their hospital there. They came and sat with us.
What an effort, what a fight back. Very quickly, let me just take your thoughts on this one. All together, at the end of it, after having led this fight, fought through it and winning it at the end of it, what would you like to say to the people of the city, Mr. Mahesh? This stands as an example.
Now, people should understand that how to use the RTI Act and Lokayukta as a platform for how the Lokayukta helps the officials of the misleading the people and by overriding the rules and regulations and taking a corruption, right? That has avoided being educated and use the RTI Act and get into the Lokayukta. You see, all the officials, revenue department and the media, whatever, bring the notice of the Lokayukta and get the result.
Right. In an elaborate discussion visible earlier in a very same studio, we spoke about how corruption has more or less become a part of our tradition now. Mr. Udayashankar, what would you like to tell the people of the city?
See, people have to think about the administration, how we can lead the administration. The people are handing over with the corrupt officials and even the residents' welfare association. We try to hand in glove with the corrupt officials and they made use of the corruption. They collected money as through and they gave money to the MLA and through them they organized this corrupt way of work getting done. And even yesterday, they tried, even yesterday in the morning, when they went to the office, to the BBMP office, and the people were sitting there, all officers and staff are sitting there, and they are working. When at that time, Mr. Manjuna, the president of RMA, came there and stole a file and he took the entire BBMP office to his control. Right. That is the thing, and we should understand that whether such people have to lead us. I should think such people should not be there as our leader.
Thank you, Mr. Udayashankar. Very quickly, Dr. Prasad, we have very tight frame of time. How do you feel at the end of it?
I think it's one of the greatest feelings.
Right.
The reason is, for once, the middle class educated people in Bangalore got together and fought against the bureaucracy and fought against the fact that we are helpless. We don't feel like we are helpless. And one thing we all learned is, if you really want to bring a change, it is possible to do it, but only collectively. And unless and until we all get together, we cannot bring change.
And together to bring the change, the collective effort is something that yielded them their results, yielded them the Khatas that they deserve. That's all we have time for in this particular discussion. Thank you for watching.